1946. He wrote, I think it was 7 letters to this government and received no reply. The pathos, almost, the sadness that here's a man who felt and believed the United States would be sympathetic to his purpose of gaining his independence from a colonial power. And then to find this is what he'd read. He'd been here. He'd read our Constitution and our Declaration of Independence. He thought surely the United States would be interested. We had testimony in the committee that his one worry was that it was so insignificant. Vietnam was so far away and so insignificant, we would never bother about it. It's too small to ever attract the attention of the United States. He was sure in his own mind that if we would ever put our minds and focus upon it, we would be for him. How different history would have been for us and for them if we had felt a common interest in the colonial province like Vietnam, seeking its independence of France.
The Ho Chi Minh of 56, I don't think could have got elected dog catcher in South Vietnam.
Ho Chi Minh dead could beat any candidate we've ever put up in Vietnam.
You asked me about my oldest son, Bing. He was a graduate of Harvard, 1965, and he was not a soldier at heart. But he realized, I'm sure there's no question, he realized that he was part of a big job that had to be done, and he was going to do it the way he did everything, full out. He went out on this mission, Mead River, and it was a big assault mission bringing elements to this area just south of Da Nang along the railroad line, and they encountered heavy, sustained automatic weapons fire, and the helicopter ahead of him, I believe, was shot down, and then he went in, and his helicopter was, he was actually killed in flight. That's what and the airplane crashed, and he was killed. His co-pilot was very badly injured, and I think there were 12 out of 15 or 16 of the people aboard were either killed or badly hurt.
Many bombs, many coffins. These are for children. 800 or 900 a week. I have lost 7 children myself. Many have died here. Though it's nothing like in the countryside. Many more have died there. In the countryside, there are no coffins. There's no money to buy them.
How did all the children die?
Poison. Poison, you know. These planes keep spouting and spraying the stuff, and so many people have died. It seems to destroy their intestines. With this spraying and bombing, so many have died. Each day, right on time, the bomb craters appear. Hundreds of tons are dropped each day. And we can't talk about it. We can't talk about it because we are afraid of the government.
Look nice. What'd you do?
Shaved.
I like to get it long. been doing?
In a little more than a week, I'll be going back to the military.
You what? Why?
Everything...
After what they've done to you?
Well, it's a choice between that or Canada again, or staying underground, which is, as you know, impossible.
Have you been in contact with them?
No, but I've got a lot of support.
You'll get the same deal Mike's getting.
Well, it's going to be a different type thing. See, I'm going back publicly. We're having ad hoc congressional hearings.
Yeah.
It's really been building up over the past couple of months now. And what it is...
Be able to be there?
Of course you're going to be there. I'm going to try to get Ronnie there, too.
Did you know what I heard about the Army? All these people holding their heads high because they lost their son in Vietnam or something. I don't think that's much to be proud of. They've lost more than they'll ever gain for the rest of their life.
I wanted them. And I remember I was sitting like at the base of the hill, and I was on one of the tanks, and I had an M16, I had stacks of magazines, and there were two guys, you know, that were going through like some grass, and bam, I dinged in on one of them, and I nailed him, you know, and the Aussie with me confirmed, you know, that I dinged him. And I felt good, and I wanted more. And it wasn't that I wanted more for politics or anything like that, no, you know. I couldn't have cared if they were whatever. I just wanted them because they were the opposition. They were the enemy.
Stinking little savages. Wipe them out, I say. Wipe them out. Wipe them off the face of the earth. Will we ever understand these Eastern races? Hit me, Poon, soon.
You hideous yellow monster.
I wanted to go out and kill some gooks, you know. I don't know. I guess I had been totally brainwashed because I could remember when people used to call me blanket ass or chief, and they still did, you know. I think my name was Ira Hayes in boot camp, either Ira Hayes or Squaw, depending on what type of mood the drill instructor was in. But there I was, you know, saying, I want to go kill some gooks, you know.
They were instructed to remove the eyes of the individual and place them in the hole in the middle of the back. And that would say to the Vietnamese, you have to understand, that whoever did that was ubiquitous. In other words, the eye being the symbol of ubiquity, or of all-present, all-powerfulness on the part of the Saigon government, which is an easy message for the local villagers to get. In fact, the American advisors didn't have that much of a stomach for the thing, so they used to use CBS logos, you know, the eye of CBS, and they would kill the individual, and then they would leave him with a kind of a calling card on him. At one point, I was invited to go along on an airborne interrogation in a helicopter with the Marines northwest of Da Nang, and they took along two Vietnamese. You know, one was already reduced by beatings with a rubber hose and some other methods of beating and torture, to the point where he couldn't talk, he couldn't respond. And as an example to the one they wanted to question, they would say, if you don't tell us what we want to know, we're going to throw you out of the helicopter. And he couldn't respond. He didn't understand. They were using pidgin Vietnamese, which he didn't understand. It was more English than Vietnamese. They'd run him up to the helicopter. Two hefty EM were along, and they would take him by each elbow, and they'd run him up to the door of the helicopter. And they did this 3 or 4 times, and he was reduced to whimpering and crying. And they finally told him that this was the last run, and he still responded the same way, and they just winged him out of the helicopter. The second fellow immediately started to babble anything he could tell them, any kind of information he could give them, for one goal, and that was to reach the ground alive again.
I just can't see in my mind, like you said, somebody throwing something out of a helicopter. I don't believe this kind of stuff happened. Maybe it did. I don't know. I never saw it, put it that way. I've seen GIs get mad and rather than shoot